if we recall what some of the experts in the industry have been saying to us, they've been hinting that, look, ultimately, what the Dangote Refinery is going to do, essentially, is to ensure our energy security. Namely, that ultimately there will be fuel, there will be PMS here in this country.
Okay.
But what most people are not paying attention to, or what is not being said publicly, is that Dangote Refinery is, quote unquote, bad business for the system. The Dangote Refinery is bad business for NNPCL and the system of corruption.
Yeah, so there's a system that has been going on for a while.
Because
the entrance of Dangote into it is bad for that business.
It's bad, and that is why
people don't want to talk about that.
And that's why I'm saying it. That look, we need to understand, and this is not being personal at all. Because we have friends everywhere. We have friends in Dangote. We have friends in NNPC. But what is happening essentially is that what NNPC, a major aspect of NNPCL's business is this idea of importing refined petroleum. Is a big deal in NNPCL. Big business. Dangote comes, says, you know what? You don't have to do that. I have it here. There are a lot of interests that are staked. And that's the only reason why we are having this kind of drama. It's important for Nigerians to understand this. Dangote has messed up a lot of stake. There are vested interests that benefit, wittingly or unwittingly, rightly or wrongly, in the current system where NNPC is the only sole importer of refined for how many years, Kayla? Decades,
yes.
At least 2 to 3 decades. So that is the unspoken story. That's the unspoken reality.
No, it's spoken. We're speaking about it. so if it's spoiling their business, are they trying to, these forces that you're mentioning, are they trying to stifle his business, or are they trying to negotiate some way that they still make the same amount of money, but not maybe through the means that they were using before? Is that what's going on?
Partly, and it's going to be difficult, because guess what? Somebody called Aliko Dangote put down his own money to build this refinery.
$20 billion.
And he has to recoup his investment. So, and that's why you see, first of all, NNPCL comes out and say, it's substandard. The guy comes out and shows us that it's actually the best quality in the world that we are producing. Made a mess of NNPCL. And it's interesting that those guys don't seem to understand that for somebody to be an effective regulator, your credibility is the most important thing. Their credibility, NNPCL, is messed up, totally, completely. And they're still there. I mean, I'm surprised that Mr. President has not actually taken up this matter so that you can restore some confidence in the regulatory process. The regulatory process is a total complete. I mean, if you come out and say, look, their product is poor, but they give you a product, even if not the same stuff, that is one of the best in the world when they did it.
I mean, so let's hold your thoughts on NNPCL for a minute, but let's bring in Ayo. Ayo has a few questions for you.
Well, I'm going to stay a little bit on the fact of the Dangote Refinery, the coming on stream of the Dangote Refinery being bad business for some people. Well, Mr. Akande, you would recognize, or you'd remember, that we've had that kind of bad business for some people before. The liberalization and deregulation of the telecom sector was one such. NITEL held sway the way NNPC held sway. We were able to swim that tide. What are your thoughts on how we swim this tide going forward? Don't forget, Dangote Refinery is not the only one in the country. We have Watersmith, we have a number of other refineries like that in the country. So if we were able to swim the telecom tide, what do you suggest this time around?
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Ayo, for that important reminder that, we have passed through this road before. My view is that, for some reason, Mr. President is still withholding the big stick. My view is that he will have to you know, and I'm sure that there may be information that is open to him that we don't have, you know. But I think ultimately the president is going to have to weigh in on this matter, you know, in the public interest. And I think we are getting close to that. Don't forget that after NNDP actually came out and said, oh, look, I mean, the Dangote refinery product is substandard and all of that. We are not even sure that the refinery is complete. You know, after some time, there was a meeting that was compelled by the presidency where Aliko Dangote and the NNDP and NNPC people sat together and sorted out the issues. So I am sure that it will get to the point, and we're getting to the point where the president is going to have to wield the big stick. You know, and we have said it over and again. The president needs to act just like he did for CBN. He needs to do the same thing in NNPCL and NNDPR. He has to, I mean, we want to know what is really happening. The whole place is opaque. We don't have any information. They give us information today. Tomorrow, the information is contradicted by themselves.
Well, you know, I'm thankful.
It's not even that, oh,
yeah. Well, Mr. Akande, apologies for butting in. I'm thankful that you understand the dynamics of information management better than those of us who are on the outside, because, I mean, you've been in the presidency. You know how difficult it can be or not to get some of this information out sometimes. I mean, it's also understandable, perhaps, that the NNPCL might be managing its own information in a way, because one way or the other, you may want to speak to that. Perhaps the NNPCL is some kind of rescue organization, so to speak, for successive governments over time. Because on the one hand, because we're in a democracy, government doesn't want to lose face with the people. Consequently, doesn't want the price of fuel to be too high for the people to be able to afford, for which reason maybe NNPC had to step in quite a number of times. But one of the statements that Mr. Dangote mentioned was that, look, with the coming on stream of the Dangote refinery supplying PMS in country, technically in country, it means that we'll be able to track the number of liters that we need in the country on a daily basis. If that is the bad business, who are the beneficiaries? Would it be the NNPCL, who is also a stakeholder in Dangote refinery, or some importers working for the NNPCL on this matter? Who else is the beneficiary or the loser in this new arrangement?
Yeah, I mean, very, very good point, Ayo. So it's the president and the president alone, actually, that can sort that matter out for us. You know, there's no point for us here to conjecture and say, oh, this and this and this and that. But to the extent that NNPCL was the sole importer, NNPCL never tells anyone that this is the amount of, when they were doing the swap, that this is the amount of crude that we send out to receive the amount of refined fuel to, at this exchange rate. Nobody knows. Hayo, we've never been told that. So we have no idea, except that it is clear to anybody that is taking a keen look that this is a disruption. Dangote Refinery is a significant disruption to whatever might have been going on there, and the people who are interested don't like what is happening. Look at what even happened during the Buhari administration. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, decided that NNPC must have 20% of Dangote Refinery. It's because, you know, there was a clear understanding that, oh, look, this is major, and we need to put some government interest there in the interest of the public. That was why it was decided at 20%. Well, guess what happened? NNPCL, on their own, without any information being told, given to us, reduced the percent, the stake from, I think, 7% or so. Who does that? Was there a FEC meeting that changed that decision for 20%? How was it? A lot of
I think a lot of the
questions.
things that you're saying right now basically breaks that myth, because for many people, we say, oh, Mele Kyari, oh, look at what they're doing. And for some people, they don't do anything without the president knowing. Are you saying it is possible the NNPC will take decisions without the minister, who is the president, knowing?
Well, look, so it's actually a catch-22 situation, and we are a bit confused about
Yeah.
what exactly we want. So when NNPC was just NNPC, the minister, can give directives. But now that it's NNPCL under the PIA, it's actually the board that ought to run this stuff. And government is the one that picked it.